I'd like to talk to you about a project that I did this time last year, which is called ear hacking. This is a project that I did at the Royal College of Arts, where this is part of my graduation work on the Design Interactions program. In Design Interactions, we use design as a way of starting conversations to provoke people into thinking about things that maybe they hadn't considered before, typically around some kind of new science or technology. So the thing I was interested in was the way in which the devices that we carry around with us start to, using wireless, start to report on our activities, start to report the way that we're behaving, and also the way in which these devices can influence the way that we behave through these same wireless signals. So to make that a bit more tangible, this project started off with the Night Plus running sensor. This has been around since about 2006. It slips into your training shoes, and it reports to your iPhone, telling it how far you've run and how fast you've run. So it's a little wireless communication there. The thing about it is it's not too difficult to read the signals. So this is a device that I built. The top line there is the serial number that's printed on the back of the Night Plus there. The bottom line is the number of miles that device has run. Not only is it pretty straightforward to read the data, you can do it over a wide distance, over a distance. So this is 3 floors up at the Royal College of Art, across a busy road, and that's the Kensington Gardens in the background there. And I put this receiver up in the window, and for the 2 weeks before the London Marathon last year, I was receiving the data from the runners all the way over there in the park. So this device isn't going from here to here, it's going from here to like 50 meters away. So what happens if you log all of that information? You get pictures like this. So this is a section of the 263 different runners that I saw in that period, many of them on repeat occasions. So you start to see the kind of way in which the park is being used. What time in the morning on a weekday do people start to run? What time do they stop running? How does that change at the weekend? Does the same person come back every morning at 13 minutes past 8? And are they always running with another person? So in a way, the wireless signals around the park kind of reflect what the park is doing. It's the behavior of the people within it. But I kind of wanted to take it a bit further than that. I was kind of really interested in, as I say, in how we might actually be able to manipulate people's behavior. So, I used. I'm going to show you a film now of the ear hacking speculation that I did around this. So that's speculation. It's done hopefully in a slightly amusing way, but I think it actually does talk about some quite important things. All of the manipulations that I showed there are based in some level of scientific understanding. There's some kind of research behind those effects. We all know about the power of music to change our mood. But what I want to get to is kind of thinking about, this is kind of from Marshall McLuhan's Medium is the Massage from 1967. And essentially we are, by wearing these devices, connected to the internet, putting our ears online. They're in some sense a networked sense. So what I presented with the speed of the runner, where there's work at Brunel University with Kostas Karageorgis, this is work, looking at how people's behavior, and particularly their pace, changes as the beat of the music changes too. In addition, in Japan. Sorry. In addition, the manipulation of people moving from side to side isn't fantasy. This work here shows how through headphones you can do that.
Maeda and his colleagues have developed the headsets and remote control as part of a sophisticated wearable computer. They call their device a galvanic vestibular stimulation interface. It works with electrical or galvanic impulses that are transmitted wirelessly to the ear.
I'll put the electrodes on. We have to avoid the hair because hair is an insulator.
Electrical impulses travel from the remote control to a circuit board in this pouch, and by wire up to the ears, where the electrical impulses convey messages to the delicate nerves in the vestibular system.
We'll start testing now. Please stand with your feet together. Now I'll remote control your balance from left to right.
The vestibular system in our ears is what gives us a sense of balance, direction, and acceleration. By sending mixed messages to the vestibular system, the remote control can literally put you off balance, sending you to the right, the left, or straight ahead as you attempt to regain balance.
How do you feel?
It feels like being pulled.
Do you feel tingling in your skin?
No, I don't.
Good. That means this is working the way it should be.
So this is obviously an electrical effect, but there is some work to show that it can actually also be, to a lesser degree, interrupted with sound too. And also, the whole spectacle of this guy with a big remote control, and if you keep watching the video, it talks about navigational applications, and it just, it feels quite jarring, shall we say. In addition to that, I did a bunch of experiments looking at, for instance, how by using binaural recordings, we could insert a sound that would appear to come from behind someone. There's also an effect where if you play back the audio of yourself speaking, so a kind of feedback loop, but at a particular delay, it starts to cause the person to garble their speech. So what I'm suggesting is there's a whole range of things that audio can do, right the way from emotion all the way through to physical behavior, particularly if you're engaged in some activity such as running. So last year, the way that I was talking about this was all about hackers and hacking, that there would be somebody who would be kind of wanting to manipulate your behavior to some malevolent force that would be hacking you. And in the last few days, thinking about this presentation, I've been wondering if my ideas have been shifting a bit on this. So I think it actually fits into a wider story about the way that we've been distributing and playing our music over the last 50 years. Traditionally, we would have had our radio, we would have had very few choices. Essentially, we would just be able to tune into a few stations, and the music that would be played would be as selected by the channel managers there. Then, obviously, we had the kind of rise of personal music in the 80s, through all of the different formats, through the tape, through the CD, through the mini disc, and so forth. Gradually allowing you to take more and more of your own music, make more and more of your own decisions about how you were listening to it. But I think there are some aspects we could see now in the way that we're actually relinquishing some of those controls again. The way that we're hearing music is no longer actually our own, by our own choice. On one level, just the selection, the recommendation, the things like Apple's Genius, these kind of systems that are algorithmically making decisions for us about how we're hearing tracks. But also now, amazing work, but for instance, things like RJDJ and the Zombie Run games, they are using sound now to manipulate people in different ways, in a real-time way, in an algorithmic way. So I think we need to start to think a bit critically about what sound's doing to us and where it's coming from and who's making decisions about what we're hearing. That's my talk.